What's good, YouTube? It's your homie Lunar, coming at you with another TCAP commentary. I keep saying TCAP, it's actually HVP, but all good. So today, as requested, we are going to do a look at the Jeff Sokol interrogation. Now, it's going to take a while to get through this. I mean, as you can see, the runtime here is about an hour and 40 minutes. So, actually, no, I'm sorry. That's the runtime from before I made this edit. I actually made an edit of this where I boosted the audio. I'm going to upload it as well so you guys can access that. It won't have my commentary on it. It won't have the intro. It'll just be the straight up interrogation with the audio boosted. Because all the uploads of this are like really, really, really quiet. For some reason, I don't know. They're really quiet. I apologize in advance if the audio levels are a little off. I kind of had to experiment with different audio leveling things, because of how quiet the video initially was and then how loud it was after I boosted it. Just bear with me. Anywho, today we're looking at Jeff Sokol. Like I said, this is probably going to take more than one video. There's no way it doesn't take more than one video. This is, even after the edit, it's still like an hour 34 minutes runtime. So yeah, without any further ado, I present to thee Jeff Sokol.
Probably just kind of start with what happened this evening. I looked at some of the texts. There's several pages. The text between you and the young female.
Now, I also want to point something out here. Obviously, the footage leaves a lot to be desired, right? This is obviously very blurry, and I actually almost did not include the footage. I almost started to just overlay like video game footage of my own over this, but I decided against it because there's so much that Jeff is saying with his body language, and as blurry as this upload may be, you still get a very good look at his body language, and it's just a good look into the mind. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out there.
Happened from your standpoint tonight. You're in Madison home in Brooklyn, and you're corresponding with this young girl.
Yeah, I was just looking into her, and I'm not going to believe me, but I honestly was not planning on having sex with her. I know the texts talk about that, but it's talk. I mean, I wasn't planning on having sex with her unless it was right and needed to do it. I don't know if I would have or not either, but.
So he never even meant to do it unless it was right and legal to do it. What? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? We're not talking about, like, this isn't about, like, well, I was going to smoke some weed in Connecticut if it was okay to smoke weed in Connecticut or be in possession of weed in Connecticut. We're not talking about something frivolous like cannabis laws or something along those lines, dude. We're talking about you tried to fuck a kid, dude. Like, right and legal to do it? In what world, bro? In what freaking world, dude? Oh my god.
I was not gonna.
What do you mean by right and legal to do?
No, I mean, if I, she seemed like somebody, that was mature and, somebody,
Mature in what sense?
to hang out with.
Like, okay, so I'm first of all, also got to throw this out there. If you don't like my stops and my commentary, you might as well just bounce on this upload, because I'm going to be stopping a fuck ton, and that's just that. Too bad if you don't like it. You can watch other people's uploads. But gosh, man, I'm going to echo a lot of the things that Detective Kelly says. Detective Kelly basically says everything that's on my mind at some point, and later on he's going to bring up different points that I'm bringing up in advance. But yeah, he says here, I thought she seemed like a mature person. Like, mature, dude, for a 13-year-old? So what, if she's 13 and she's mature for her age, what does that put her on the mental level of, like a 20-year-old? I mean, it still doesn't do that, by the way. She's still a 13-year-old, whether you think she's mature or not. Like, what the fuck is up with that, dude? She seemed mature. And also, mature? She talked about breaking an iPhone because her parents made her move or some shit. She talked about breaking a phone because her parents made her move. She talked about getting in this chick's face and cursing her out and threatening to beat her ass because of some frivolous rumors being spread. Like, where the hell do you get mature from with that? What? You are fucking delusional, dude. And that is my number one biggest issue with Jeff Sokol, is that he's more delusional, I think, than hardly any of the other Predators. Like, all of the other Predators in HVP knew right off the bat that they had fucked up. Like, it seems to me like they all knew that they had fucked up. They were all doing some version of damage control, or they were all trying to justify it, and Jeff is the one pardon me, Jeff will also try to justify it, except I'm not convinced that Jeff thinks he actually did anything wrong. I'm not convinced that to this day he thinks he did anything wrong. I think he thinks that he made a decision that was a poor decision because of the impact that it had on his life, but I absolutely do not think that he realizes how completely fucked up his actions were that day. So, that's one of the reasons I go so hard making fun of Jeff Sokol, is because this dude was unrepentant. This dude was unapologetic. This dude meant to do it. Okay, it's not up for debate.
And so we're going to go and find out if she was what I thought she was.
So how long have you been corresponding with?
Like 3 weeks.
And how'd you meet her?
3 weeks.
Shot site.
3 weeks.
What
And
was that called?
3 weeks and a 2.5 hour drive. You cannot possibly tell me he did not think he was going to get laid. He's been chatting with this person for 3 entire weeks, which is, in the dating world, that's quite some time, you know? In the casual dating world, right? That's quite a bit of time. And then he made a 2.5 hour journey, which is just insane by any stretch of the imagination. Like, 2.5 hours drive to see someone. Like, I don't think I've driven that far to see my grandparents before. I'm just saying, I love my grandparents dearly, but like, I don't think I've ever driven 2.5 hours to one spot to see them, unless we were going on like a family vacation or some shit. Like,
Water Club, is that, what is that? You got a hookup site or
I
something?
think chat rooms, but I mean, I'm not sure it's a hookup site. There's people there.
Have you talked to people before, girls, guys, or whatever?
Yeah.
On that particular site?
Yeah.
Have you talked to younger girls before today, or in the last couple of weeks, rather?
No, not that I know of.
And what was the interest in this particular girl? Let me back up and say, now you're married?
No.
Have you been married?
Yeah.
Divorced?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like 10,
10 years
10,
or more.
11 years, yeah.
I would love to see an interview. I would absolutely love to get an interview with Jeff Sokol's ex-wife. Like, I can only imagine what she has to tell. You know, I granted, I'm not gonna nobody should harass her or anything. Everybody should just leave her alone. But man, how fascinating would it be to get her side of the story? You know, Jesus, married for 10
What was the
years.
reason for the dissolution of the marriage? She made her issue with her ex-wife?
But no,
Or she with the other?
no, it was just a mutual breakup.
10 years and no kids. Like, yeah, dude, he's insufferable. There was something, I mean, granted, it's not impossible that she had problems too, but like, nah, dude, 10 years, no kids, divorce, mutually, accepted. Like, bruh, nah, this dude was, this dude was probably horrible to be married to.
And how about dating and things since then? Do you have relationships? Have you had any recently?
Yeah, I mean, a few on there.
What was the last one?
I mean, I had a short one over the summer, a couple months.
How old was she?
41.
The adult woman? Have you, met or chatted with or visited younger girls before?
Younger, yes, but I mean,
What's your, I don't know, younger than me is in the middle 20s, from my standpoint, a little bit older than you, but what's younger than you?
I mean, yeah, I dated girls in their 30s and 20s.
Okay, so if younger to you, if your definition of the word younger is 20s or 30s, then you have to accept that a 13-year-old is a freaking baby, dude. Like, if your normal idea of younger, dating someone who's younger than you, is dating someone, say 10, 20 years younger than you, who's still a legal adult, 20s or 30s, if that's your idea of younger, there's no fucking way you can tell me that this is anything other than a little baby you've been talking to.
And, I mean, this wasn't, I'm sure, the first time you met a girl who was purportedly 12 or so years old, right?
What would you say?
I said, I'm sure this isn't the first time you either chatted with or met with a girl who was, supposedly 12 years old.
I believe it was the first time that I know of.
It was? Is that what you're saying? It was the first time? I mean, I don't know. You may have an issue or a certain fetish or attraction to younger girls. You probably do.
Yeah, I've never met, I've never gotten to meet a girl that was a teenager.
Never.
I'm conflicted about if I believe this or not. I really am, because on the one hand, it's like the other interrogation, or the other video where we were doing a commentary, and I mentioned that a certain percentage of these guys I do believe have never attempted this crime before, because they would never be successful enough chatting someone up who they would never be successful chatting a teenager up or a minor up in order to get to the point where that person invites them to their home. So for a certain percentage of the predators, I absolutely believe it was the first time that they attempted it. And with Jeff, I'm just not sure. I definitely think he absolutely has chatted with little girls online before. There is no doubt in my mind. You got to remember, this was filmed in 2015. Jeff Sokol was born, I believe, 1971, 70 or 71. So Jeff Sokol came up in a time when the internet was still brand new. You know what I mean? He quite actually was around to witness the dawn of the internet age. I don't believe for a split second that in his, say 20 years of being on the internet, we'll just assume he got online in 95, right? I cannot believe that in 20 years he never attempted to chat up a little girl. I can believe that this is the first time he's attempted to go and meet one, but I don't know, man. He's definitely chatted up kids before, 100%.
And why tonight? Just Saturday night is going from basically the Boston area. Right?
That's another thing. I mentioned that in the initial commentary that I did about Jeff Sokol, in one of the two commentaries, is that he lives in Boston. Freaking Boston, dude. That's like one of the largest cities in the country, dude. That's one of the largest cities in like one of the largest countries in the world, bro. There are chicks everywhere. There are all manner of chicks. There are like young women who are, again, legal, like, 20s, 30s, who like to be with older men. They just have they have like a preference for that. There's those people. There's people near your own age, Jeff. There's older women if you're into that, But there's no reason in the world to ever be trying to get with kids when you have so many other options, man. Like the fact that you would choose this coming from Boston 2.5 hours says that you have clear intent. He's going to try to sell you a narrative that, like, he's going to try to spin this around you'll see over the course of the interview. He's going to try to spin this around like, I was lonely, I didn't have anybody, and I thought she would be cool to hang out and talk to. And it's like, no, Jeff, no, it's not like that. You're not in Fairfield, 2.5 hours away from home on a freaking Saturday night in Boston. You're not that far away from home on a Saturday night because you're just so lonely and so down and out. Like, bruh, nah. There are bars all over that city. There are bars, there are movie theaters, there are all kinds of different places to go. Nightclubs, dance clubs, all manner of different places. You chose deliberately to go for a kid. You targeted a kid. That is why I cannot let up on Jeff Sokol, because he's so unrepentant and so unapologetic, and he's going to try really freaking hard to sell this narrative that, like, I was just having innocent conversation with this girl and I never even meant to do anything. Like, and it's like, dog, no.
I just had nothing to do.
Had nothing to do.
I was just kind of like,
There we go. I already called it. I didn't really call it. I've seen this like 100 times. I don't think that's calling it.
Had nothing to do. I figured we'd just
Nothing to do.
Got home later tonight.
You talk, I know that
You figured you were gonna hang out with her. Is that why you brought a Cialis pill? Is that why you brought freaking vodka? Like what? Or no, wait a minute. He didn't bring the vodka. She had the vodka. But you intended to drink vodka with her. So I mean, whether you brought it or not, it was still on the agenda. That's no. You don't drink vodka with 13-year-olds. Okay, we're gonna
the
push on that
text, there was like some mention of
a little bit more
I
later.
don't know what if it's a religious thing or something else, but what's the deal with the marriage certificate? What was that whole conversation? Yeah, a marriage agreement or a contract we talked about.
I know it was Jimmy at one time when I said, is there in a contract?
I was gonna mention it like bringing some type, maybe it was in jest, but she mentioned bringing some type of marriage contract or something like that.
No, no. Bringing something? No.
Yeah, so I feel like they kind of overblew this one a little bit. I feel like they definitely oversold the marriage contract thing. From what I can remember of the chat, he did mention the marriage contract a time or two, but it was never like, okay, I'm bringing it with me, and we're gonna see if we can get your mother to sign it or something, even though her mother's in like Dallas. He never explicitly stated that he was bringing a contract, and even if he brought the contract, the mom's not there to sign it anyway. That's like part of what he mentions in the chat, is that her mom's going to have to sign the contract in order for them to be able to get married, which I don't even know if that's legal or not. Either way, it's horrible. So I feel like they oversold this a little bit. However, from the standpoint of like trying to get to prosecute and get a conviction, I get it. You want to throw the book at him. You want to try and nail him on any charges you can, so I feel you on that. Like,
Did you mention having her sign it, or you signing it? Or
and also, it just makes him look way worse, and you know what I mean? It just makes his TV segment that much worse.
I mean, I can go get the paperwork. Unfortunately, it's an inch thick, but there's some conversation about that. There's a lot of
Yeah, there was conversation. There was conversation about that. I was just explaining to her that people could get married by just signing a contract, signing, marriage documents.
But if you're talking about a 12-year-old girl, it's kind of.
Yeah.
I think you could probably even.
14, but yeah, she said she was 14.
Okay, this is one instance where I really wish we had higher quality footage here. I really wish we had one of the better uploads of this available. His face when Detective Kelly says that, he looks so pissed off, bro. He looks so mad. He's like, well, she's not 12, she's 14. As if that makes any fucking difference, dude. It's still a freaking child, dog. It's not like, oh man, she's 14, so she's just, that much closer to the age of consent. No, dude. It's still a kid. You're fucking 44, bro. This kid is old enough to be your freaking kid. Actually, old enough to be... Yeah, I started to see your grandkid. Maybe if you had kids like super, super young, and your kids did too. But nonetheless, this is young enough to be your child, bro. Like, what the hell are you talking about, dude?
Okay.
She was 14?
I know, it's young.
It's young. Yeah, it's a distinction with no difference, for sure. Thank you.
Get some of the text. So we're both clear on what age she said she was.
7 and 12.
No.
Hmm.
The 14 is that making a difference anyway? Is 44?
There's a difference to me.
Because neither are legal, you know that.
Mhm.
Right? Age of consent is 16, which is, I'm not lying yet, too young also, but I thought she might be 14.
Also, I believe she said she was turning 14, so he's attempting to try and play it up a little. He's attempting to be sneaky by saying, she's 14. A lot of the Preds will do this. I see this on like the more amateur Pred catcher content. They'll say, they'll have the decoy specifically say that she's turning a certain age. That way there's no deniability. It's like, okay, she said she's turning 14. That means she's 13. He's just a dishonest little shit.
Oh.
Oh, look at that. A chat log just happens to materialize. Huh. I wonder what it says.
So these are obviously a copy of some of the text between the two of you. You said you met her, what, give or take 3 weeks ago?
So,
Talking about, blowjobs and oral sex and
Oof. And you look at his posture. You can look at Jeff's posture and see he is very on the defense here. He's closing himself off. He's got his arms folded. He's got his arms crossed. I mean, he's kind of slumped over, sort of in a resigned position, like he's defeated. Obviously, he's been defeated ever since those cameras walked out. But arguably longer than that. But yeah, you can clearly tell he's uncomfortable, and I love it. I live for it. You don't deserve to be ever not uncomfortable.
Tom, what's going on in your life that we've been having you, going down this road? Maybe you've always lived like this, I don't know, but it's a concern, obviously, to everybody, 44-year-old guy, and you're talking about a 12-year-old girl, and in your mind, maybe she was 14, but it's certainly illegal and, horrible in most people's eyes.
and then said that, you could probably read that.
So you drive from 2.5 hours away to see this girl.
I didn't think it was against the law to meet with somebody and just hang out and talk to them.
You didn't think it was against the fucking law to drive 2.5 hours on a Saturday night, whether it was 2.5 hours or 2.5 minutes. You didn't think it was a problem to drive over to a young girl's house, who's a minor child, by the way, an actual little child, and after you're going to drive over there to go see her, after you've had conversation about blowjobs, about her giving blowjobs, if she's a virgin or not, what experience she has, and you think that's okay in any way, shape, or form after asking her about penis size, after asking her about drinking? Like, what? What world are you living in, dude? You are fucking mental.
I don't know.
Is it?
Is it? Is it? What?
Somebody?
To hang out?
If I had sex with her, yeah, that would be against the law, but they didn't
Okay,
do
so
that.
let's just take a step back. So let's just say you never got divorced from your wife, and you had a daughter. You said it was 10 years ago, right? You were thinking you got divorced. So let's just say, as a result of the marriage, you had a daughter or a son who was 10, 12, 13 years old. And it's Friday night, you and your wife, hey, whatever your daughter's name is, Caitlin, we're going to run out to dinner and stay out a little bit late. You can stay at home, and you come to find out, you walk in, there's a 44-year-old guy from, 200 miles, 100 and something miles away. Is everybody cool with that? You're cool with that?
Well, obviously, at first, no.
That's first?
Yeah,
What?
when I first walk in, it's not going to be cool. But if it was somebody like me, I don't think there's a threat.
Okay, so if you walk in and some 44-year-old is trying to creep on your child, it's not going to be cool until what? Until he hands you freaking marriage documents to try and marry her off? Like, oh, hey, I don't even have a problem with this. You just wanted to marry my daughter off? Okay, wow, that's okay. Like, no, dude, you would be absolutely livid. You would want to kill that dude. You would not be waiting for him to prove his character, his morals, or whatever. Like, no, dude, no. Oh my god, this is so frustrating. I've heard this, I'm not even kidding, I've heard this at least 20 times all the way through, and it never ceases to frustrate the ever-loving fuck out of me.
But how do they know what your intention is? You're talking about blowjobs and pics?
Yeah, they don't.
Other issues?
Yeah, are you still going to be cool with that dude, that's schmoozing up your daughter and bringing marriage contracts down from 2.5 hours away? Are you still going to be cool with that after you find out that he's been texting her about sex, about giving blowjobs and you know, stuff like that. Like, nah, dude, get real.
Not talking about maybe some common interest, music or sports, which is also, I mean, the whole thing would be weird. I think what everybody would think. I think you actually would too. It's unhealthy and strange. A 44-year-old guy, what's he got in touch with, in common with a 12 and 14-year-old girl? And why, if he lived in a big metropolitan area, would he drive whatever the distance was, 2 hours away on a Saturday night?
Isn't that all speculation?
I mean,
What are they speculating on? What could they possibly be speculating on? Hold on.
Strange. A 44-year-old guy, what's he got in touch with, in common with a 12 and 14-year-old girl? And why, if he lived in a big metropolitan area, would he drive whatever the distance was, 2 hours away on a Saturday night?
Isn't that all speculation?
None of that is speculative. That is an outright, like, observation of the facts. All he just said right there was all of those things are true. You're a 44-year-old man. You drove 2.5 hours to meet a kid on a Saturday night from a major metropolitan city. What's the speculation? The speculation that well, you're just speculating that I was going to sexually assault her. That's like, I'm going to use this example. I'm going to use it over and over again because it's the best one, or at least in my opinion it is. It's like if you had a bank robber who was contemplating hitting a robbery. They were hitting a lick one night. They were planning to hit a lick. They'd been thinking about it for weeks. They scoped out the premises. They know, you know, they've done all the ins and outs. Let's say it's somebody who's robbed a bank or something before, or maybe just someone who's thought about it a lot, but this is now they're going to finally go for it. It would be like a bank robber trying to say to the cops, well, I mean, come on, all right, yeah, you know, I'm sitting in a van that's packed with guns and stuff, and I'm wearing a bulletproof vest, and I've got bags and a ski mask, you know, bags for the money and a ski mask, and, you know, I've got the vault combination for the vault, you know, oh, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, you know, I walked into the bank, and I held up the gun, and I told the lady, you know, hey, give me all your money, or I'm going to shoot you. And, you know, yeah, okay, look, I did that, but isn't that all speculation that I was going to actually try to rob them? I mean, for all you know, I was just joking. I wasn't really going to do anything. Like, good Lord, man.
What's the speculation? I'm looking at this.
You're speculating that I was going to have sex with her.
Because that's what you said.
I didn't say that.
You didn't say that? Well, no, what you said.
Well, we talked about having sex, but that doesn't mean...
Isn't that strange?
It doesn't mean I was going to. Tonight.
Well, yeah, tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week.
Maybe when she's 16.
So but where's that in the conversation?
I don't know,
Did you mention that?
Maybe
You did.
I might have been there. I mean, I mentioned that I was looking, I looked into like the laws and stuff about, you know, minors. I was looking into that.
If you have to research statutes before you can go out with someone, you don't need to be going out with them. Okay, straight the fuck up. If you have to research the law to find out if it's okay for you to date someone, just get the hell out of town. Just bounce, okay? It's one thing if you were like researching, you know, I don't know, like the, what do they call it, the 90-day fiance, like the visas for that. That's one thing, because in that case you would be searching, you know, I think they call it the K2 visa or something like that. Maybe not, I don't know. But it'd be one thing if you were searching that. At least that's for an adult. That's a legal adult. You know, yeah, you're looking into the legalities of a relationship, and not necessarily the relationship per se, but you're looking into legalities revolving around the relationship, right? Around moving that person to this country or you moving to their country. So I mean, that's perfectly above board because it's, you know, again, it's a consensual relationship in that sense. But if you have to look up, like, legit, can I even take this person out on a date? Is it legal for me to even, you know, pick them up in my car or take them out for dinner or whatever? No. If you have to ask, the answer is no. It's not just no, it's hell no. No.
No, because I was going to meet you know, to hang out.
So you knew there was an issue.
There's
Otherwise you wouldn't research it.
Yeah, but there's an issue if you do this and this and this. But
no, Jeff. There's an issue if you message a girl for 3 weeks, Ask her about how many people she's had sex with. Ask her about penis size. Ask her about giving head. Ask her about all kinds of stuff. Asking her, like, what's the oldest boy she slept with or whatever the hell. Like, dude, it's. What? Like, there's no speculation here, man. You're guilty. Dead to rights.
And this is just I was looking, I was just like looking down the road, like let's say I did like her and she liked me, why not? I mean,
But this is somebody you've never met before.
I know, but I was just thinking out loud, looking at the big picture. That's all. Doesn't mean I was going to go and do what I was going, it was whatever.
Is that like your, lack of a better description, like your cup of tea, like you want some very young girlfriend or bride? It sounds like some fantasy you have, which is fine if that's what your fantasy is. I just want to know where you're coming from.
I figured I'm getting to particularly for her, and she happened to be.
This is through all, like, chatting or texting, right?
Exactly.
Somebody you never even met.
Right.
So for the sake of talking, you could have done, it wasn't, but it could have been me posing as this girl, and you wouldn't know who you're talking
Could have
about.
been, yeah.
It's not like you saw her or spent time with her.
Well, that's why I came down, was to see if I'm natural.
The irony is that he was chatting with a middle-aged woman on the chat app the whole time. So, like, he was he thought he was talking to a kid. Don't get me wrong, he's obviously wrong on account of that, but, like, it's just ironic to me that he came down to try and get with a kid after he had actually been on a chat with Bulletproof Lori, who was, like, probably in her 40s or something, dude. Like, poetic justice, man.
If you, what was your name again?
It's Detective Kelly.
If you read all the text, I don't know if you read all of
I
it.
did not, I probably can't digest them all right now,
Sure.
but I'm starting to try to look here.
I'm sure.
Good.
But if you read a lot of it, the exchanges between you and her, I was always aware and scared of any consequences if I was to do something wrong, like if I was to have sex with her. And to be honest, yeah, of course, from what I saw, she's, beautiful and everything, but I was not going to risk, anything by having sex with her. I just wanted to meet her and hang out with her, and I was going to go home.
That is absolutely blood boiling. He's worried about risking everything for himself. He's worried about risking his job, his apartment, his lifestyle, his reputation in the community, his reputation with his family and friends. He's concerned about that. He's not concerned about potentially damaging a child, like a 13, 14-year-old kid. As a 44-year-old man, like, he's not concerned about that. He's not worried about, I was afraid I was risking, hurting her potentially. Like, no, he's like strictly, I had to be careful. I had to really just keep my dick in my pants because I thought all I had to do was keep my dick in my pants and I'd be okay for the, no, dude. And talking about risking everything, fuck you, dude. It's not about risking your shitty life, dude. It's about, you were about to risk injuring a child. That's why you got charged with risk of injury to a child. Fucking sicko.
You're gonna meet her, hang out
I
with
can't
her.
trust I can't trust anything, obviously, even more so, but,
How do you think we and she feel?
well, see, I
Right.
get it, I get it, you guys.
We're trying to protect the innocent and the vulnerable, right?
Yeah, but
Just like when you were that age and I was that age, you wouldn't want some guy, attacking you.
If he's dangerous, yeah.
What are you talking
Or
about?
maybe he just has bad intentions. When you were 12 or 14 years old, if there was some guy in your life, or appeared in your life, who's in his 40s, and is talking about having sex with you and different things, isn't it your parents and the police and the school system's job to kind of protect you from that person? And sometimes if you're not being like totally honest with your parents or community people, The only alternative sometimes we have is to do like spinning type operations like this, but we'd never catch anybody. Because you're not going to tell anybody. You're so paranoid about it, you're researching the statutes. Because you know it's wrong,
Facts.
right?
Right.
And I'm sure in here there's probably conversations with a girl about, you didn't tell anybody about this, right? Or something like that, because you're afraid of the and you didn't go when the parents were home. If it's wonderful, then yeah, if your parents are home, that's great. I'd love to meet them. No, your parents aren't home, right? Kind of thing. They're away and not coming home, whatever. You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just,
And I think this probably goes back a long time. This did not happen overnight. I'm a little bit older than you. You know, whatever my makeup is, physiologically and emotionally and every other way, didn't start last week.
That's so true.
See, probably.
Yeah, that's another thing and Jeff's going to try to downplay this fact as well, is that I can't actually 100% call it a fact, but he's going to try to dispute this notion that, Rome wasn't built in a day, so to speak, and neither was perdition. He just didn't start thinking about wanting to get with a little kid randomly 3 weeks ago. Like, nah, this was something that had been possibly laying dormant in the back of his mind for decades. This is something that it may be that, or maybe there was some, like, news story where he saw where a young girl was sexually assaulted, and for some reason he didn't think that was repulsive. He not only thought it was not a problem, he thought it was sexy or whatever the hell. Like, there's something in this guy's mind that drove him here. A normal person just doesn't get in a car on 2.5 hours to go and meet anybody just about. I mean, for a date, that's so far away. That's extreme, dude. But especially a child, bro. That shows clear intent. You can't show more intent than that unless you extended the length of the drive. Like Michael Patterson had like 5 hours or whatever, but just
Fantasies, desires.
Oh, also, I was recording this while I was playing a game on Steam. Not this commentary. I was recording this Jeff Sokol video and audio boosting it. So I had Steam playing. So you do hear me getting Steam achievements from playing Vampire Survivors. Which, by the way, holy crap! If you love computer games, and if you haven't played Vampire Survivors, it is so good. It's like computer game crack. It is freaking addictive. Anyway, sorry, let's get back to the show here.
Interests probably your whole life, actually. Or until you became an adolescent or something.
fantasies about what?
I'm assuming younger women. And maybe as you got older, like, you wanted to stay in that realm, like, the younger girls are like them better for whatever reason. You would have to tell me what the attraction is.
It's never happened before.
But we're talking like 12 years old. It's like 6th, 7th grade.
Right?
You know what I mean?
And don't start
That's a young.
there. And he's gonna start with that shit. Well, she said 14. She said 14. Okay, sorry, she's not in 6th or 7th grade. She's in 8th or 9th. Okay, there, we grant you that. Does that make it okay? Because she's potentially in high school instead of middle school? She's a freshman in high school instead of middle school? No, it doesn't make it okay. Even if in your twisted, warped mind and your fucked up view of the world, it does not make it okay. Bruh.
I don't know why you keep saying 12.
I don't know why you keep saying 12.
Use your term and say 14?
I mean, I know they're both young, but it's a little bit, different.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Teenagers at the big hump that you need to hear, like, okay, she's a teenager. She's 13, she's not 12. She's 14, she's not 12.
The big hump.
It's 2 years later.
So?
Yeah, still 2 years under the age of majority, right? Certainly not, worldly or mature enough to consent to anything. Right? Doesn't have the legal right to do it, never mind. Because why? Because they're very young, so they need to be protected.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
What if you thought I came down there and
Oh boy, get ready for this. Get ready for this. If you know, you know, but if you don't, oh boy. We're going to dial this one back 10 seconds. Get ready for this.
They have the legal right to do it, never mind. Because why? Because they're very young, so they need to be protected.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
What if you thought I came down there and had sex, why didn't you wait and see if that happened?
Ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between or otherwise, I present to you the stupidest line in this entire interrogation. I present to you a low point in a series of very, very low points. That is the stupidest shit that this guy says, not just in this interrogation, but actually probably across all of this in general. Again, let's go back to the bank robber example. Say somebody's getting ready to go out there and rob that bank, go out there and hit that lick. Do you want the police to just sit back and wait to see if he does? Like, okay, hold on. He said he was going to do it. He's made he even posted on the internet, on social media, that he wants to do this crime, but let's just, or he had a private chat with someone on the internet where he said he was going to commit this crime, and that person reported it to us, the police. Are the police just going to wait it out and be like, all right, well, we'll see if he actually robs the bank, okay? I mean, yeah, he's walking in there with a gun and a bag and a ski mask, but he also may just want to make a genuine deposit. He may have his work check just to deposit there. Maybe he's a very responsible check depositor, or whatever. Maybe he's very faithful with depositing his checks on time, and he's also just an avid Second Amendment person. He's just, I just carry my gun everywhere, the bank, hospitals, my kids' elementary school. Like, I always have my gun with me, What's so weird about that? The ski mask? Come on. This is a fashion statement. My ski mask, Haven't you heard of that rapper, Ski Mask the Slump God? Like, yeah, I'm like 44 years old and shit, but I really vibe on that, man. I'm just living out my best life, man. Taking my gun to deposit my work check at the bank wearing a ski mask. I'm not going to do anything. Just sit back. Like, trust me, guys. You can trust me. I'm not going to do anything.
Why would I want to put that girl that was in the house through any kind of a horrible experience that can get really out of hand really quickly? No offense. There was like...
He immediately realizes how stupid that was, too. I'll give him credit for that, at least. He immediately starts to try to walk it back, like, okay, I understand, I get it. Like, yeah, I hope you fucking get it. That's the dumbest goddamn thing you could say in that situation.
Several cops there and other able-bodied guys. You'd be in probably some kind of pain at the end of it, because if you got maybe your clothes up or you're trying to grab her, we come in not knowing what you're capable of. Why not do it like as much as we can as a gentleman? You're seated, Chris Hansen speaks to you, you're free to go, you're compliant, didn't throw her on the ground or anything, we handcuffed her, but why would you want to take it to another level where it's horrible? She has to go through that, several times, because there's several different guys like yourself that are coming to meet her?
Silence.
Anybody? Like, honestly.
No.
But even the hug, as soon as you got there, you're trying to hug a girl you've never met.
No, that's not true.
Well, maybe it is. I mean, I understand from your standpoint, you're probably...
That's such a load of bullshit, too, by the way. Does this guy seem like the kind to naturally just go up and give people hugs? He didn't try to hug Chris Hansen. He didn't try to hug Detective Kelly. He didn't try to hug anybody, else involved in this. Like, dude, get the hell out of here, okay? You're not some, energetic child who wants to just walk around, giving everybody hugs and stuff. You're not some, just little kid who loves to go around giving people hugs and stuff. You're a grown-ass man coming to get with a little kid.
But from her standpoint, you're a total stranger, and she's probably a little freaked out by it.
She's cool with anything, just want to go hang out and have pizza. I honestly, that's why I was there. I just,
You need to...
my case, okay, for this is obviously there's a lot of text there,
Yeah.
but I was trying to do things or make it so I wasn't breaking the law. If I decided at some point that I wanted to, have any relations with her, I was trying to make sure that it was legal. Otherwise, I wasn't going to do anything.
I'll explain that.
That's just complete rubbish. Again, that's absolute garbage when you consider the nature of the chat, the fact that he had a Cialis on him. He's going to try to play it off, well, I always have Cialis in my car. what I mean, I don't take Cialis, so I can't even speculate on that. Maybe I don't take any of those things, so I mean, maybe if you do take those things and you do go out on casual dates, maybe it's worth having them in the car. I don't know, but that still seems so bizarre to me. Like I don't keep anything except maybe like ibuprofen in my car. I think that's it. Like I have ibuprofen and breath mints that could be mistaken for pills, I guess, if you were really dumb. Like shit.
If I, if I, you know, came on and I liked her, she liked me, but she was cool and I didn't feel like she was, too immature or too young or too, the same, if I felt like I was on the same, you know, level as her, like, you know, emotionally and whatnot. I mean, I wanted to, you know, I did.
I'm almost at a loss for words. I mean, you think that you're able to you think you're able to relate to the emotions. You think you're on the same emotional wavelength as a middle school kid. What? Dude, tell us your entire life is completely fucked up without even really saying another word, dude. Like, what? And then it's all bullshit anyway. He was not coming down here to make a genuine emotional connection. Fuck that. He was coming down to get laid. Emotions would have been second hand, if even that.
On doing that was breaking the law. So that's why I researched that stuff. I would never, I mean, that's like ridiculous that you guys think that are being done, like bring a contract down.
Well, we were going, I believe, to your.
You're interpreting,
I don't know.
you're interpreting it, but I mean,
Maybe we are. I don't know. But I also see that you're mentioning that a 44-year-old guy shouldn't be talking to a 13-year-old girl like this.
I mean, hey, look, I have the blueprint to the bank in my van here. I have, like lots of explosives and flashbang type stuff, smoke grenades. I have, detailed numbers of or detailed lists of all the passwords to all the computers, and again, the vault key combination. But man, I mean, it's ridiculous that you would think I was coming down here to like rob this bank. I mean, come on, man. Like, that's just absurd. Like, what?
right, and so I
You're
felt guilty about it, yeah.
language online.
I felt guilty about it, yeah.
And you think you might be on the same wavelength as her?
And there's plenty of, young people who seem to that are pretty smart, pretty mature.
13.
They're out there, yeah.
No, it might be.
They're out there. Yeah, okay, so that is another tell. Like, this guy has had this on his mind for a while. This guy has seen little kids on TV before and thought, oh, yeah, that's attractive to me, and then he tries to justify it in his mind by saying, well, she's just really mature, I just think she had a really great mind on her. Like, no, dude, you wanted to smash. And you've been one to smash.
There's a couple out there, I think.
He's been trying to smash kids for years. Or at least wanting to.
See, I
There's a
understand.
reason these laws are in place, right? I mean, to protect people.
When I said that to her.
Meaning what? I'm still, you kind of expounded on it before, but you're like, oh, I want to do things with her, so in case I did have feelings for her and I liked her, like it would be legal. I don't know what that means. She's still, let's just say 13, because you mentioned 13 right here. So how does that still make it legal?
I don't know, she said she was turning 14, but okay.
That means she's 13 then, you fucking moron. What are you talking about? That's what he just said, that she's 13. So if she's turning 14, guess what age that makes her, dude? Oh my god, this is so annoying.
How does it make what legal?
You just said that. How would it make it okay? You're going to do things with her and she's 13. And you ultimately have relations with her.
It would.
Intercourse. How does it make it legal?
It wouldn't unless her mom consented to marriage. It's the only way it would be legal.
So you're gonna marry a 13-year-old girl with her mother's permission.
Maybe when she's 16, I would do that. Why is that like so hard to believe?
Jeff, it's not hard to believe. It really isn't. Okay, guys, I tell you what, we're running north of 50 minutes now on this upload. I'm going to go ahead and call this right here. We stopped just before the 22-minute mark of the video that I'm using, at least. So, yeah, gosh, I'm really sorry about the audio. I realize it's pretty awful this time. It sounds like the video, the recording we're watching, it sounds like it's being, filmed in like a tin can. So I apologize for that. But I do want to say, if you made it this far into the video, thank you so very much for tuning in. I can't say it enough. Like, I appreciate every view that I get. I appreciate every like, every sub. Like, it means the world to me to just know that there's someone out there that likes what I'm doing enough to even just give it the time of day, or you know what I mean? Like, that's so cool. So I truly appreciate it. We will, of course, pick back up and finish these up. We will probably do more than another episode. We'll probably have at least 2 more. So on that note, guys, it's your buddy Lunar, wishing you a very good evening and a very good day tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful day. Make sure you do so on purpose, and I'll see you next time.